As you all know, the Vikings have a new head coach, Kevin O'Connell, replacing Mike Zimmer in the offseason. What are the five biggest differences going into 2022 now that we got a new Vikings head coach? Welcome to Minnesota Sports Talk. I'm your host, Dave. You can follow me on Twitter at SkullWorld, Facebook SkullWorld, TikTok SkullWorld. Make sure you click subscribe below, click like, leave a comment. That will enter you in my contest where I'm giving away money towards merchandise on any website of your choice. All you have to do, click like, click subscribe, leave a comment. Giving that away on game day, Vikings versus Packers. Now let's get started on what I think are the five biggest differences with the Minnesota Vikings coaching going into 2022. So the news is making the rounds. Ben Lieber, former Viking, Vermilion High School alumnus. I'm from South Dakota, so I know who Ben Lieber and his brother played for Vermilion High School. Although Ben was also a running back, he made it known how good a linebacker he was. But his brother was the best running back in the state when he was in high school. So it was a pretty good football family. Now, enough South Dakota history. Ben Lieber came out saying there was that Mike Zimmer had a lot of faults, and there's a lot to talk about there with the way Mike Zimmer was with the team last year. I'm not going to dwell so much on that. Everybody's covered it. I'm not going to go there. The Vikings got a new head coach, and here are some of the differences in no particular order that are the biggest differences. And there's a top five here, but no particular order of what the Vikings will be like now that we got a new head coach, or what's different about this coaching staff. Now, let's talk about number 5, just the overall vibe coming from the head coach. This guy's media friendly. He's very diplomatic in the way he talks. He gets some hard questions, and he handles it very diplomatically. He's an amazing communicator, very optimistic. He pushes back in a sneaky way. That's a wink. He did that with Skull North. I did a video on it. That he said, I wouldn't be the offensive coordinator at NFL football, NFL Super Bowl winning team if it wasn't for Matthew Stafford making the plays that he did. But there was a time frame where we didn't win a game in November, I think he said, or I think it was November, and that we had to make changes because Stafford was throwing. He didn't say Stafford specifically, but we were turning the ball over too much, and that contradicted the thoughts that Judd and Mackey had when they interviewed him. So he does very well in interviews. He's very friendly. Zimmer, he wasn't like that. Childress wasn't like that. They were very abrasive towards the media, and I can understand sometimes, and you have that feeling of, just reaching out and bashing them. Now, you'll see that with presidents. Ronald Reagan was very diplomatic when he spoke, and you see like a Trump and a Biden attacking back at the media when they get a question they don't like. This is a guy that is more of a communicator and will work with the media to get out his message about who the Vikings are going to be. Now, and that's my thought process. My first thought that he is very, very diplomatic in his way he handles the media, and I like that. I think the fans will like him for that. Now, number 5, offensive-minded coach and one willing to be more aggressive on offense. Okay. Now, Zimmer, and I have another one, but Zimmer didn't want to be aggressive. He wanted to control the ball, run the ball, and he didn't want to take chances. He was very risk averse. They say Cousins was risk averse, but our head coach was bigger risk averse. And he says he's never had a bad defense, and then he had 2 years of really bad defenses. So he's a offensive-minded coach, Kevin O'Connell. He's going to be more aggressive. He's going to go more no huddle, and you can you are not honest if can't say that when Kirk Cousins went no huddle, he wasn't good. You can't say that. He was. That's when he shined. And they said, well, that was garbage time. No, that's when we unleashed the offense, is the way I was looking at it. He was very aggressive against Green Bay in that tie back in 2018. He was aggressive against the Rams in 2018. This guy can play the ball. Kirk Cousins can be aggressive, just like a Matthew Stafford is. He just needs to be allowed to. Now, number 3, no mandates. We're not going to, there was one game where we were getting our ass handed to us. We couldn't move the ball at all, couldn't run the ball. And coming out in the halftime interview, they asked him, what do you need to do? Well, we need to run the ball more. No, you need to adapt to what the game is giving you. And that was throw the ball. Holy crap. You got all these receivers. You got a good quarterback. Start getting aggressive. And those two are the last two kind of are hand in hand, but there's no mandate, so you need to run the ball. And this will go into another question of what type of, we'll go into my number 2, but mandates. There's no mandates on this team, I don't believe. I think we got a head coach that's going to be calling plays, but he's not going to mandate the defense to do certain things. He's going to let them be. These guys are good defensive-minded coaches, and that's Patine and Donatel. Donatel being the D coordinator is like, if this is your defense, win me some ball games. I'll worry about how much we're scoring. And you just hold them on every drive that you can. How many times did see Zimmer go into prevent defense? That was so unlike his outside demeanor, but it never failed. How many times you'd go into prevent at the end of a half or at the end of a game and cost us. It just never failed. Sometimes we got lucky. But if they needed a field goal to win a game, we were going to give it up. If they were going to score before the half, the Packers or whoever, they were going to score. It just never failed. Anyways, I'm done talking about that. No mandates. No, we need to run the ball 3 and out and then punt it. Just none of that's going to happen this year. We're going to be more aggressive. Number 2, no nepotism. We brought in coaches that believe in what we're trying to do here. Phillips, offensive coordinator. I think he's going to be head coach in this league someday. He's a little late bloomer, but he's still pretty young to where he'd be considered a young head coach. You got Donatel and Pettin. These guys, Pettin went to 3 NFC title games with the Packers before stupidly getting fired over one play or one drive. Donatel bringing in just a phenomenal defensive pedigree. This is going to be a good coaching staff. There's a reason why we couldn't get a top of the line offensive coordinator to come play coach Russ. There's a reason for it. It is after 2018, and we hired an offensive coordinator, and we fired him mid-season, and we had to start promoting from within. We talked Kubiak into coming to play to be our offensive coordinator. That was the best thing that happened to us. But then with nepotism, we promote his son. There's a reason we couldn't get anybody. Is nobody wants a mandate if they're going to be the offensive coordinator for a team. That's not going to happen. No one's going to want to do that, and that's why we went through so many offensive coordinators in 5 years. Insane. Or five offensive coordinators in 4 years or something like that. Now, in 2 of those years, we had, there was another year where we didn't have the offensive coordinator finish. And so there was 2 years in Zimmer where we didn't have an offensive coordinator finish the season. And that's embarrassing. Number 1, rookies will get a chance to play. There is no reason that Justin Jefferson shouldn't have started the 2020 season. There's no reason. If he didn't get better by week 3, he was good to begin with. We need head coaches that will recognize that and say, hey, he's our starter. Danielle Hunter didn't start when he was a rookie. I think he only played some starts his second year. It's just, why don't we start rookies if they're that good? And I think we got a head coach now that is, it's going to be a meritocracy. Lewis Seen's going to play a significant amount, if not start at safety. Andrew Booth Jr. might win the cornerback job. If Ed Ingram balls out, keep in mind, Booth Jr. and Ingram haven't signed yet, but that's going to happen. Ed Ingram, if he balls out, he can start at right guard, move, Chris Reed, or start over Chris Reed, or move Chris Reed to center. We're gonna promote from within. If you are better, if you're a better player than the guy that we thought was going to be the starter, we're going to play you. I think this is a meritocracy. Everybody's got an opportunity, a true opportunity, not just mouth service. Those are the 5 things that I think are going to be big differences for a Minnesota Vikings 2022 team. Let me just recap. Just an overall better vibe of the head coach, offensive-minded coach, willing to be aggressive on offense, no run mandate. If the game changes, we're going to change. No nepotism. In 2020, we had 3 sets of father-sons on the team. Number 1, rookies will get a chance to play early and often. That's it. That's Minnesota Sports Talk. We are in for a better season with a much more bigger meritocracy on this team. Best player, best coach. Let's go beat them. Skol Vikings. Make sure you click like, subscribe, and leave a comment to enter my contest. See you next time.